Now it's time for me to take a look at the annual Doctor Who New Year special, Eve of the Daleks. My hopes for this were of course high, with me being a big Dalek enthusiast and with the most recent series of this show being one which I enjoyed, for the most part. Sadly, this New Year special was a big disappointment. For me, it was my least favourite of the so-called Chibnall Dalek trilogy. The premise is the Doctor and the gang end up in this self-storage building along with two other characters and Daleks. Everything in the building is caught in a time loop thanks to the TARDIS malfunctioning, and essentially what we have here is Doctor Who's answer to Groundhog Day. As a premise, this was really strong. Plus, the promotional material got me really excited. So what went wrong for me? Well, I just found it boring. For me, the story became all too predictable due to its repetitive nature, ropey dialogue, and another wasted opportunity for the Daleks. For some reason, the Daleks in this now have these machine guns instead of the normal exterminator guns. The reason is because they are apparently executioner Daleks. Now, I hate to be harsh, but aren't the Daleks meant to be executioners anyway? After all, the so-called normal Daleks exterminate people for their own living. I may be really pessimistic, but personally, having the machine guns doesn't make all that much of a difference to me. That being said though, I found it odd how the Doctor's screwdriver could apparently interfere with normal Dalek weaponry, but due to the new gun, this isn't the case anymore. For a story which is supposed to be about reliving events over and over, it sure does have a lot of padding. I found the choices of dialogue really odd, even with the Daleks. This special is full of exposition and a lot of the dialogue just goes over my head. One scene which annoyed me was when all of the characters were just talking inside one of the storage units while the Dalek was just chilling outside. Eventually the Dalek shoots down the door, but why did it not do this in the first place? It's a Dalek, it's meant to just kill people, not wait outside and apparently be patient. The strangest character of them all was Nick. He kept all possessions of all his exes. Yeah, that's just plain weird. Despite this, after dying over and over again, Sarah and Nick end up together at the end of the episode, after he tells her that he had a crush on her for over 3 years, something else which is another red flag for this character. I'm not at all criticising the performers in this, by the way, but I for one thought that the writing for these two was really poor. As for the main characters, the big talking point of this episode was that Thasmin is real. Yaz is secretly in love with the Doctor, and I hate to say it, I find it frustrating that Chibnall has decided to go down this road, especially at this late stage of his era. I thought the reveal came out of nowhere and was done purely for fan service, and I think the reason that it's been done is to give something else for Yaz's character, because I and many other people think that Yaz has been a character who has been underutilised somewhat, especially in Series 11 and Series 12. I'm not sure how this storyline can be expanded in the last 2 episodes. However, it's good to see that sections of the Whovian community seem to like this, so power to those and power to LBGTQ+. Apart from that revelation, other standout moments in this include Dan coming face to face with a Dalek and the Doctor's speech about learning from mistakes but trying again and again until you succeed. Moments I found questionable was when the Doctor asked the Daleks why they were after her. The reason for this was because of what happened at the end of the last series with the Flux. But in all seriousness, there were so many more reasons other than that, like the small matter of the Time War. Again, odd bit of exposition there. The Dalek plan to use the time loop to finally exterminate the Doctor once and for all is dumb. And the reason I say it's dumb is because if they had any wits about them, why wasn't there more than 3 Daleks? It would have made it impossible for anyone to get out of that warehouse alive, even after multiple time resets and multiple deaths. Eventually, time would have caught up with everyone and the death would have been permanent. This episode should have had consequences. But in the end, despite everyone dying over and over again, ultimately, everybody lives. And the TARDIS is back to normal. I really wanted to enjoy this episode, but due to all the stuff I pointed out, sadly, this was a letdown for me. It all sounded like a match made in heaven, but due to the boring dialogue with some weird and wasted guest characters, this is one which I won't watch again unless I partake in a marathon. However, I don't want to end this video on a sour note. After all, we are getting a return of the Sea Devils. Yeah, baby.